I call them Huff and Puffs.
Wow.
Huff and Puff.
That's what I call my morning routines as well. Kind of.
All right, guys.
That's what I do before I eat pussy. I huff and I puff and I blow those lips open. That's
because when they first wake up, their shits are like sealed.
It's
You know what I mean? It's like when
you gotta get her. You gotta get her to yawn.
It's like an envelope, but that wasn't wet enough. You know what I mean? Those envelopes where it's sealed and you're like, oh, it's a closed envelope, and you grab the tab and it's like, and it just comes together real nice. This is a Let's Smoke clip.
Let's watch.
So what we're doing is this is a Let's Smoke Podcast presents, and we're presenting a movie review. Yeah, me and Taylor are gonna go watch a movie in about 10 minutes, maybe less actually. If I'm looking at the clock, probably 8 minutes.
Yeah, we gotta leave soon.
Yes, and what we're gonna be watching
within 15 minutes, we have to leave.
Definitely, and what we're gonna be watching is The Batman. The what is it called?
Yeah, we don't have the soundboard. We didn't have time.
Yeah, no, I didn't feel like setting it up, but The Batman, starring Robert Battison, so to speak. He's here.
Pattison.
Yes, and it's also St. Patrick's Day right now, which is funny. That's when we're just recording this.
That's
So
what we're calling it.
I mean, it's a special episode, put it that way. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about The Batman, and this is a movie that Taylor is very excited to see. I'm excited to see if they fuck it up or not. That's about it.
I'm excited that there's finally a standalone Batman since Christopher Nolan's.
Yes. Okay.
That's not a part of some other thing.
Right.
And like
they can just focus on the characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping. I know this is gonna be a top 3 Batman movie if they don't show his origin story.
Ah, okay.
Because
They're always gonna show his origin story.
That's my biggest thing with Batman is like, hey, we fucking know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do not even a flashback. Like you can reference it, sure, but like we don't need it. We know it. We all know it. Just because it's a new actor, we don't need to see him do it. It's the same thing. The play. The alleyway.
Right.
Bang.
It's always
boom,
the same fucking
sad,
guy.
Cave. Bat.
It's really annoying. So yeah, let's do that. As far as let's see what we're expecting. Like, are we expecting the redoing of an origin story? Like, are they gonna do it all over again? And if they show it, will it even be worth it? Or are they going to do something different with it? Maybe he doesn't get killed by, his family doesn't get killed by a dude outside of the theater, but this time, because it's modern, I heard it's modern, because the Riddler is supposed to be some kind of internet incel. Okay. I heard. And Paul Dano, very much looking forward to seeing him get the shit beat out of him again, because he hasn't almost.
Is Andy Serkis in this?
Yes, Andy Serkis is. Awesome. I think he's Alfred.
So why? My whole thing is I knew this movie was coming out 2 years ago when they grabbed Robert Pattinson for it.
Yeah.
And but they did almost no marketing because I did not know Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, or my Westworld homie.
Yeah, Felix Leiter. I call him Felix Leiter from fucking Casino Royale and all those James Bond movies. But his actual name is, I think, Jeffrey Walker.
I can't remember.
I think it is.
I do love him. He's a great actor.
It ought to say it in this thing. Paul Dano. Yeah, Jeffrey Wright. That's his name. I was close.
And what's the woman's name? Because I've seen her.
Zoe Kravitz?
Zoe Kravitz.
How could you not remember that name? But at the same time, I understand. I think
you didn't catch what I was doing.
Oh, you had me say it.
And what's the woman's name?
Catwoman. Oh, dude, Colin Farrell is in this. Have you seen
Alfred?
No, he's the Penguin. So, wait, so you might have just been oblivious to the marketing to this because look at him as the Penguin. That's him right there.
That's Colin Farrell.
Yes, there he is again. This is obviously a screenshot from a fucking cam version somewhere that they used.
Stolen it. He looks like Doc Ock.
Yeah, see this one too. He does look like Doc Ock a lot in this. It's very interesting because we're about to see where that ranks as far as Batman villains goes. But the one thing I want to evaluate from this whole movie is it a story that was worth needing to be told? You know, like, was it another goddamn Batman? I understand it's a standalone. It hasn't been a standalone in so long. Every single Batman has been part of a bigger universe for the last decade at least.
To me, who's the director?
Matt Reeves, I think his name is. Okay. And I might be very wrong on that.
Matt Reeves has done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, Matt Reeves. He's also known for things like The War of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
I'm pretty sure he did that.
He did Cloverfield! I thought J.J. Abrams did that. Yo,
damn,
it is
hell, y'all.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I think he did the new Planet of the Apes series, and I love those.
Well, I mean, but like the last one didn't need to be made. I think that was Dawn of the Planet or War of the Planet of the Apes. That one I saw with Woody Harrelson. I mean, you get the gif of Woody Harrelson dabbing his tears with dollar bills, which without that movie wouldn't have had that. I'm very happy for that. But the whole rest of the movie wasn't worth it.
What I was getting at is Christopher Nolan started the realism superhero.
Right.
The dark realism superheroes. And I feel like he is now continuing, and since Nolan did Scarecrow damn near perfect in the first one, he did a great job with Scarecrow.
Yeah, but with Cillian Murphy, you can't go wrong. That
it's kind of hard.
That kid's a good.
You have the best Joker portrayed, like in this era with Heath Ledger, and then everybody supposedly like deadpanned the third one. But I love Tom Hardy as Bane.
The third one was just a bit too much. The first opening scene was very poorly done. The first scene with the CIA plane, that scene was edited so terribly.
There are scenes in that movie that make that whole movie be, like where it's to the point of like, I don't give a fuck what else happens. Yeah, I got to see that.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't know that was gonna happen.
But that's almost the fan servicing thing that he kind of did a little bit because everyone's looking forward because of those.
Figured it out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I loved all of those, but I feel like this is the continuation with bringing back the original villains that we all knew from the OG Batman.
That's okay.
It's like you have Riddler and Penguin brought back, but now in the realistic dark version. I never watched Gotham. Because I didn't feel
Gotham.
Oh, that's a big lightning bolt.
Woo! Yo,
goddamn.
We're about to go through this weather to see the Batman. Is that not the most appropriate? Have you seen any of the trailers? Yeah. We're seeing a Kurt Cobain Batman.
We're in Gotham right now.
Basically, we're going to be driving through Seattle, much like Kurt Cobain did probably before he stuck that shotgun in his mouth. Anyway, that's
hell of a
no.
Slammed that illusion.
No. So I'm the only reason why I'm saying that is because Robert Pattinson has said in an interview that he channeled Kurt Cobain in his performance of Batman.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say for Edward Cullen.
No, just in regular life, I play the role of Kurt Cobain. Off the screen, I'm Kurt Cobain. On the screen, I'm whoever you want me to be. Okay, I almost didn't get out of that. But anyway, let's say this one. So the origin story, I'm excited to see if they're gonna do it again. I hope they do it again because I hate that they would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want the origin story again. I'm excited to see Penguin and Riddler done in the dark format.
Yes, villains. That's the second thing I'm definitely writing down.
The realistic dark format is nice to see the old villains done that way.
Yeah, so with that, I think they're going to do all the villains well, except for Paul Dano. I think Paul Dano's character is going to be, sadly, one of those where they try to say too much about society because it's an internet person. You know what I mean?
If he plays his meekness the same way he did in There Will Be Blood, I think there'll be a good...
Yeah,
it'll be a good...
A Weasley Riddler.
Not overly pathetic. Because he had to be hard enough for the Old West in that movie. But he was still compared to like Daniel Day-Lewis and shit. I'll drink your fucking milkshake.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like if he can, I think if he does,
him in the church, dude, that shit was like him, like that character in the church, like doing the whole getting baptized or baptizing the guy and just humiliating him.
If he can just figure out how to get that kind of energy into the Riddler, I think he'll do a fucking phenomenal job. Yeah. It's going to be fun to see.
Yes, we got to get it going.
I think that's it, guys. We got to go.
So we have
a few minutes to sit down.
We'll be right back with the review of this movie.
Exactly. We're coming right back here after.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
It was definitely nice. Like I liked it. I knew I would like it, but I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I did.
Yes.
I knew there were gonna be things that would inevitably make me like it, but it ended up doing exactly like I said. And we're not gonna get straight into the spoilers.
No.
We're gonna talk about just how they did the movie in general,
right? And our experience while we were at the theater as well, because that doesn't have to contain any spoilers.
I've seen stuff about this already, but I guess you could say cinematography, the way they set up Gotham, the atmosphere of Gotham. Was
my god,
it's whatever. We'll fix it later. They did it just right, where it's this modern times mixed with this, you can tell, old aesthetic.
Right.
Like when the money came and the aesthetic started being built is the aesthetic that is now rotting in the present day.
Right.
So like when they originally got the money 20 years ago and this cool cathedral-esque style of building a city was started, you see the remnants of it, but because all that money's gone, none of it's fulfilled.
Right. So it's set, basically this movie is set in Gotham, but it's present day. The thing about it is though that it's literally very dark. It's very gothy. The whole movie's got some gothy things. You get a little peek at one point into, and this is not really
very
a spoiler.
Suicide Silence.
Yeah, basically.
Aesthetic.
But at one point, you get a peek into the Waynes' house, and I had the thought of like,
is how I want my house.
I figured, but like, were Bruce Wayne's parents like goths? Like, were they Satan worshippers? Because the inside of that house, dude, it looked like a straight up like.
I think
there was a lot of spiky.
Real name is Gomez.
I don't understand that.
No, the Addams Family, motherfucker.
Yeah, I know.
Because that house was Addams Family as shit.
It was legitimately straight up.
Like I loved it though. Like. That is, I want my house that I want like my compound that I eventually build one day when I buy a mountain in Colorado. I want my house to be some log cabin / 8th century to 12th century Gothic castle built, not Gothic, but castle building. Yeah. Gothic period, I think, is later.
I think, you're thinking of Baroque. I think
not necessarily, because that's more like Baroque. Isn't that more
important? Probably not.
Hippie, like hippies.
Yeah, no. I don't think so. Baroque is, I think, more of it was a return back to normalcy from what was crazy about Gothic, but it was Baroque. That stems back to like way before the hippies.
Baroque era, like where like the fatter you are, the hotter you are.
Oh yeah, no, kind of, I guess, but like, I feel like there was a lot happening back then. But I don't know. It's a weird thing. But Bruce Wayne's parents were definitely like some kind of fucking gimps.
The aesthetic of the movie was very well done, I thought.
I mean, it was very sad boy. That's the thing. It's a very sad boy movie. Like, if you're really into like what Kurt Cobain must have gone through during the last few weeks of his life, go watch this movie. And if you can, go to it while like drive to it while it's raining, while it's pouring rain, because it will match the aesthetic perfectly.
I'll put it like this: if you like the Joker, this is Matt Reeves watched the Joker and was like, why don't you make Batman that way?
Kinda, yeah. Oh,
that's sort of the main thing I got out of this was he somehow took the was it Todd Phillips?
Yeah, Todd Phillips of Hangover fame.
He did Joker. But
Due Date.
He somehow took the world he built, that aesthetic, and he literally made the Batman story that made the Joker and Todd Phillips exist.
Yeah,
because you don't get Batman in the Joker at all.
Right,
you don't get him at all.
But
this would be the Batman that would be in the Joker
in that universe. Yeah,
that's what I like about this so much. Like they really like the Dark Knight series. Gotham isn't dirty.
Yeah,
you notice that? Like, Gotham,
it's a very stylized type of dirty.
But it's not how
realistic.
It's not how real terribleness exists.
Right,
and in this one, it is a lot closer. closer. I'm not saying obviously
it's its own thing.
Still a movie.
It's its own thing.
But
the
way the subway is built up, the way the streets he runs through, and then the way
it looks a lot like Batman Begins. Like if you look at the Batman Begins,
the first
Gotham
one was a lot more gritty.
Yeah, like but like it was like a Tim Burton type of gritty, kind of. You know what I mean? Like it's like a fairy tale urban type of grit that I felt was through it because I felt like it was a little bit. Like it had some influences of like My Chemical Romance, maybe some,
That's why I said Suicide Silence.
like
fucking Seosin all day.
There was a lot of emo shit happening in this fucking movie.
A few Nirvana songs. There was.
Oh yeah, the one Nirvana song is like topping the charts again now because of it.
There was two, wasn't there?
Well, they played one twice. That's the thing. Like at the beginning and the end. Yeah. The Nirvana one with something bloody blue blop. I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into spoilers though. So if you don't like spoilers, turn this fucking video off. If you weren't gonna watch this movie, if you have watched this movie, then stick around because. We're actually going to be talking about this movie a little more in depth now because I swear to God, it's just annoying trying to dance around.
You got to kind of get into how the main the movie, the whole arcs.
Right. And like let's begin with the things that we said before. As far as like our notes beforehand, because we had a few things that we were thinking about, like you just saw them. So like
the thing that made me the happiest is what I said is they completely got rid of doing the obligatory or at least what felt like obligatory with every Batman movie in the last fucking 30 years. Origin fucking story, 15-minute scenes.
Exactly.
They literally throw it away in a newscast.
Yeah.
And he picks it up, stops doing what he's doing, watches, and then goes back to the fucking story.
He just is kind of it's like used as a plot device kind of, or like more of a character building thing where he realizes like that, oh my God, it's been 20 years since my parents were killed.
Exactly.
I was wondering why I was so sad today.
It's more of a like you said, a plot device for Batman, Robert Pattinson to
show the audience like how like detached he has become from like
exactly
what he was.
Because normally when this stuff happens, that's the breakdown Batman scene.
Right.
This shit literally happens.
That's gonna fuel him. But no,
this shit happens and he's just like almost over it.
Right. Like
almost like I could give a fuck.
He's a sad boy in this movie. He's very sad. It's like summer 2016 Suicide Boys.
They did that shit very well with how they used the origin story by just being less than 5 minutes in the first 30 minutes. It just being a throwaway tag into the scene.
Yeah.
And then another thing, we talked about this already a little bit. They did not have much fat. In every scene,
pacing of the movie
the pacing and the conversation and dialogue of this movie is so close to normal, you want to laugh at points. Because there are some times when they'll say a line and you're like, that's really how you're handling this? But in reality, you're like, well, no, that is how seasoned like people who are in this area consistently kind of talk and deal with things.
They let the characters be the characters without necessarily like needing to be cartoony. Like a lot of Marvel movies have this thing where they force banter. They force banter into scenes and stuff like that.
When a conversation's over, guess what in this movie? It's over.
There's
no 30-second framing of the next scene.
Right, no. And it's also not like these characters need to have a scene together, so we're giving them a scene together. Like the fucking Spider-Man movie. Like contrast this to like the Spider-Man movie and look at what purpose the scenes serve. In the Spider-Man movie, a lot of the scenes serve the purpose of satisfying people's expectations. And in this movie, a lot of the scenes serve the purpose of telling a fucking story. And that's what I liked about this movie a lot, is that it never lost sight of what it was.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. Like shit needs to have a cohesive vision. And I'm glad they just gave one director like just the opportunity to just let his shit come out.
And then what we talked about earlier, how they're going to if they're gonna give the villains justice.
Oh yeah,
very much so.
Yeah,
because
this was a movie about villains.
The villains won.
Villains. Yeah,
this is the first superhero movie, at least in a long time. I don't know if there really has been like this in the sense of
people will say Infinity War like it wasn't like set up to be a two-parter, but this is also set up to be a two-parter. Let's not fucking mistake ourselves here.
But this whole movie, the emphasis of this movie, even though the ending has a little where Riddler kind of breaks down because he didn't get it exactly how he wanted.
Right.
Riddler won.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because the antithesis of Batman is he is so smart, so good, and so ready that he can prevent any crime.
Right.
He can, or not any crime, but anything that would cause.
Well, basically
Gotham,
any crime, like actual terrorism, he can prevent even.
But to cause Gotham to fall,
right?
He has the ability to keep his people safe, his city safe. He, in a lot of the comics, Batman has like a dozen contingency plans for if Superman fucks around and tries to find out.
Right, yeah.
Like in the comics and canon, like Batman beats Superman 8 out of 10 times.
Right.
Because he's so fucking ready.
Right. Which is like that's such a fucking
But that's what I like about this is that he's documenting his Batman.
He's in year 2 of his Batmanism.
Like he's literally
it's a project.
How a realistic person would explore this idea. Instead of going to the League of Shadows and training with Ra's al Ghul, even though that's technically canon, I guess. But like the way
it is the most realistic way to have put that canon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He literally is
this one don't give a fuck about canon. It kind of says, what if we did it this way?
What if you did it more humanistic?
Exactly. So in its own, like, that's the thing that this movie does very well. Its world building is pretty pristine.
Yeah.
It does a good job.
They did a great job of making sure that you understood that this is an incomplete Batman.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That this isn't the Batman that is ready to beat Superman.
Right.
This isn't the Batman who is ready to take on any and all things and conquer them undisputed.
He's still getting patronized left and right.
Like,
the whole movie, he's getting patronized by literally everyone.
Almost as if Batman is in high school.
Right.
But he's still a grown man dealing with the hardest of problems.
Right.
So
it's like a Peter Parker type of origin story that they gave.
Yeah,
they gave Batman a Peter Parker arc. This movie is basically what happened.
Spider-Man-esque mixed, and they let the villains actually win.
Yeah,
because the first time a superhero meets a real villain, in all reality, he loses. That's why Invincible was so good. Yeah. Because he got his ass kicked.
Dude got
so fucking much.
Dude got literally
creamed. This is how it would work. He has to learn.
Dude got the shit beat out of him by his own dad. Like, where's the mercy in that story? You know what I mean?
The fucking fight choreography was not overplayed.
They did. I think what they did really well with those scenes is that they did the staging and the execution almost like the Daredevil series on Netflix, where they had like fatigue and like punches actually hurt and you could tell that they hurt, and like punches also
getting tired,
and they also they hurt the throw as well. Like that's exactly like there's a whole thing.
Batman can't throw 50 haymakers and not gas.
And guess what? If he beats up 6 people, it's through clever shit and not necessarily just being able to just punch them the same way, the exact like 6 times in a row. And like that's not gonna happen.
When he's in the police station and he's surrounded by the cops, the way he fights isn't I can take all of these guys out right now. He literally pops the 2 closest.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
He literally he fucks up the 1 or 2 closest to him and gets space and then puts his back on the wall and is like, okay, we're gonna have to continue.
He rope-a-dopes in this movie a few times.
Like he does the things where you're like, oh yeah, no, that's how you would have to do it if you're even gonna think you might get out of this.
I mean, my man does catch a bullet a few times too.
Yo, he got lit up, and it was my favorite scene. He got lit up, and he was like, oh shit, guns might be the decision.
You know what? This guy having an Uzi on him at this time, I did not predict, and I feel shitty about that now. Like he was laying on the ground, and then suddenly he got back into his like. They did a good job at not spoon feeding you everything that happens in every scene. They like have a little scene where the penguin is like.
No, there's two scenes. And they were all within the last 30 minutes. I was like, this the obligatory, you know what's gonna happen.
Right. Well, there's a few times, like at the end, they definitely did do it. They telegraphed a few times.
There was like two things.
Right. But in the beginning.
When he's about to get shot, you're like, no, he's not.
Yeah, right.
You just showed Catwoman looking up.
Right. Yeah, that was that one.
About 2 minutes ago.
Oh no, is he gonna be killed by a random NPC? I think Batwoman's gonna take care of this one. And lo and behold, there she is.
Batwoman.
Also, I did call that Paul Dano was an orphan in the orphanage, like maybe a half an hour into the movie. I want maybe some credit there.
That out when,
it was so quick, dude. Like when he brought up the orphanage, I was like, well, there's no reason to bring up the orphanage.
That's what I was saying.
There's no reason for anyone randomly bring up the orphanage.
When the renewal project gets brought up in the first hour, you're like,
I mean,
there
come
it
on.
is.
There we go.
There it is.
But yeah, no. Well, okay. So, the thing about what they did with a few of the action scenes is that they didn't spoon feed the action to you, where they literally show everything that's happening at every second. No, they let your attention get away from Batman as Zoe Kravitz is fighting Colin Farrell, who did a great fucking job as the goddamn Penguin,
was
which
insane.
is did a great job. Great job.
That was kind of crazy. When you're like, how are you playing this so subtle?
It's the acting that did it.
Yet you're like, I'm not saying like some like Oscar-winning performance, but
right?
Like he played the subtlety and the over characterization of a comic book villain.
Yeah.
Just right.
But he literally hit these, like, he basically, imagine Jim Carrey. Imagine Jim Carrey doing that role.
He hit the mob Tony Soprano energy.
Kind of.
Just mixed with almost anime trope of like, I'm a villain.
Right. But played it low key enough to not call attention to itself. It's like, look at how good of an impression I'm doing of a mobster right now.
Yeah.
Like it was an actual portrayal of a mobster, which is weird because he's got so many.
Did really good.
I mean, how many prosthetics must he have worn? Or does he just look like that now? That would be nuts.
It was really hard to tell that's even Colin Farrell.
I mean, it was. It was weird. It was 100% weird.
But
yeah,
the thing I like the most about the movie, like we said, the origin story, they didn't harp on it. The villains became the actual point of the movie. Like, even though
the villains are the point of every superhero movie.
Like,
because no superhero movie would exist without the villains.
This was literally like, if this is Zodiac put with Batman. The way the Riddler got played was Zodiac-esque with Batman tropes and tendencies and canon.
And I think that's where this movie and the Joker movie you brought up earlier have a lot in common as far as what cliches / like tropes they take from certain movies. Like they chose the right movies to take tropes from in both this and the Joker.
They chose the right formats to blend into this.
Exactly. Like they had a little Sin City, a little bit of Sin City.
Yeah.
And they had because it was raining constantly. I feel like that was mainly like the thing. And it was a lot of
always.
And I feel like it was I don't know, it was a little like modernized, like I said, like a fairy tale kind of, but still real enough. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like the realness of how much the villains win in the superhero movies and stories really got portrayed. I would say, like for me, at least with how we're in the superhero era of movies.
Yeah,
the best.
Hopefully, almost getting out of it.
Hopefully,
we're getting there. Goddamn, stick with us, y'all.
Was good.
Stick with us.
Hopefully. Like
if we're gonna get original takes on shit like this, like I'm all for it. Like Into the Spider-Verse.
Batman is that it existed before the comic book movie era.
We both just burped into the microphones.
But this Batman existed before the Marvel era, and it did it independently.
Right, yeah, that is true. I mean, but I don't know about independently. It was under
what other
DC?
superhero movies until Sony bought Spider-Man?
Besides
Superman.
You're talking about. Oh, okay. I see.
No. You see what I'm saying?
All right, amongst. Yeah, I was zoomed in too far. I feel. Okay, I got you.
Amongst cinema.
Yeah.
The superhero movies were the random Batman, the random Superman.
Well, the Christopher Reeves Superman.
That's what I'm saying. The random Batman and the OG Superman.
Right. Yeah.
That was it.
But those were not bad. Like the OG Superman, I'll put up against most movies.
But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the comic book era, and Batman existed before then. So even though we are hoping the comic book era comes to an end, Batman existed before it, so it can exist after by its own thing. Batman, to me, is almost American history now.
Yeah,
the way Batman has been put into cinema, it is not so much a superhero as like he is not the original, but the standard for anti-hero.
Yeah.
And so you can use his story to fantasize or realism, whichever way you want to go. Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan or Matt Reeves now. You can do these different levels of stories with all the fantastical villains, and you can either realism the villains and make them make sense, or you can do the Silver Age of comics.
Right.
The pam, plume, plow. Or you can do Disney file.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yeah, that's the thing. Marvel will definitely just like absolutely slaughter this shit until, there's nothing left of their characters. And they got like about 1,100 more characters that they do not use. I'm not lying about thing.
Yeah, my main takeaway though from this movie is the thing that made me the happiest about the movie is they didn't fuck with the origin story. Hardly. They just threw it away because we all know it. The villains got fleshed out. And
the villains, which we haven't talked about one villain yet, John Turturro. John Turturro, we have not talked about at all. And that guy was great. Sorry.
And the last thing.
I did not realize that you were in the middle of something.
Batman loses.
Yeah.
He does not get
one
thing.
I wanted to hook
the
on
one
to that.
thing, his whole purpose of starting this experiment.
Yeah.
He fails at.
Right.
That's amazing because, like I said, you're getting to watch Batman before he's actually figured it out. You're watching Batman figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And he loses because he's gonna have to.
Well,
because how the fuck would he win?
Yeah, it makes no sense that you would be able to keep up with a guy like the fucking Riddler.
That's why I love it.
Who's so many steps ahead of everything.
He says
constantly.
it at the end. He goes, "Wow, holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm impressed with someone I shouldn't even be impressed with. You're not even as smart as me."
Right. But that's also, you see Paul Dano's villain arc go pretty well when he gets caught in that fucking diner that looked exactly like the
fucking Nighthawk.
Nighthawks.
I should put it up.
The Nighthawks thing. Everyone knows this painting that you're probably seeing right here.
It's the Phillies
right now,
diner.
Right here. Yeah, it's that's where and that's the fun aesthetic because it had like neon lighting in front of it, but it was literally the internet.
Perfect. They literally made it's the same exact corner diner, a bar. The way the bar is set up, the way everything is set up, the way the glass is outside, it literally if it's not an allusion to Nighthawk, I don't know what the fuck. Why they chose to make it that way. Right, yeah.
There's a few very obvious.
The point of his paintings, of that artist's paintings, of like Nighthawk specifically, is to express the isolation and loneliness even when you're around people.
Right.
Living in a city. Even the man and woman in the painting of Nighthawk they seem like a couple, but are literally the most distant they could be while being close to each other. They are the most isolated pair of people in this environment while it's nothing outside, while it's just depressing darkness around them. And then there's just some random stranger serving the bar.
And if you thought a review of the Batman couldn't dissect actual art, you were wrong.
It's such a good little... they didn't make catching the Riddler the most fantastical thing.
Yeah, no,
they
100%.
made it real grunt cop work. Essentially, how it would.
It was literally a detective story, and we have not seen Batman be a detective yet, even though that's like what it would be. Good. Yeah, but I do want to say I 100% agree with
for John.
No, I agree with your dissertation of that painting. That's exactly what they would have taught.
Like if it's not an allusion to that. Like you got it, it's in your subconscious, like because that was like so perfect. The way how he's there, that fucking bartender's not even there. The diner staff isn't even there. It's
Wade from The Shining was not there.
It's literally just him isolated in his own fucking head after finishing his little fucking scheme.
Yeah, and then after carving a fucking question mark into his coffee cup,
espresso,
which was his first confession. But basically, we have not talked about this one guy, which is called.
They hid until you see it in the movie.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I didn't do enough research to realize that he's also in it, but John Turturro is in this bitch,
and he kills it.
And he doesn't deliver a fucking Miller's Crossing performance. But he definitely gets he does what he needs to do in that movie. It was not like
it's no
Jesus.
Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, no.
You know?
It was dude, do you know they did a sequel?
I fucking love him for that fucking so much because it's so nonsense.
Dude, I see your Mr. Deeds.
So
and I raise you the sequel to The Big Lebowski. That
they made a sequel
about 2 years ago, and it's not
him. It follows him.
The Coen brothers are like, we have nothing to do with this. Like they were all just
they made a point of it.
They made sure that they were not on it, but John Turturro was in it.
Damn it, John. And it was about his character.
It was about the Jesus. No, it was it was a whole I never watched it because it has maybe
like a scary movie.
It has maybe a 3.2 on IMDb. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Turturro. Yeah, there he is, dude. Barton Fink. I don't remember that movie that much, but yeah, that's a goodie. Good lord, where is this? The Jesus Rolls. Yes, this movie. What has it got on IMDb? I can't find it. 4.4.
At least it's under an hour and a half. They made sure.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a quick second.
It is a little long.
It is a long movie. But good lord.
When you understand that if you're gonna pace the movie as naturally as possible, it kind of has to be this long.
Yeah,
but. When you get to the two, like it's almost like I kind of like it for this reason, because you get to this mark and you're like, so if Batman's gonna win, there's got to be another hour of this movie, and then you realize there is another hour. There's about 40 minutes left of this movie, and Batman still doesn't win.
Not even.
It's like,
just,
shit,
dude. By the way, I did want to say that about Batman. This whole movie, this is the sad boy Batman because everything happens to him.
Yeah.
Everything just keeps happening to Batman. Oh, aren't we sad that everything just keeps happening to poor old Batman? How about you solve a crime?
I like how they make a point of it, how it's not about solving crime nearly as much as it is a personal seeking of vengeance.
It's about solving people.
It's about solving himself and trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with himself and specifically his family and his situation.
Yep.
And then
you can groom Robin.
Throughout it, he comes to the realization of like, I'm actually... Like the Riddler kind of forces it into his face of like, it
becomes about class.
Yeah,
it evidently all these superhero movies
ends in that.
They always become about class. It's like, wow, look at the orphan that's glamorous.
He realizes like, I have the ability to search for my vengeance while there are people who are rotting in the pits of this hell of Gotham.
Which is also the orphanage system as well. It's just terrible. Which is real because the actual foster care system in America is fucked.
Even though Riddler had less opportunity, he accomplished his goal of vengeance better than Batman.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it kind of gets thrown in Batman's face of like, yeah, my problems hurt, but like I kind of am figuring out why we're all in the place we are, and it's because we're all me.
Right,
but like regardless of my situation, we're all, he's starting to see like I'm sort of a villain.
Yeah. It's an I Am Legend type of thing.
But
not really because
not nearly as hard.
Because Paul Dano just sons him. Like in the fucking he literally just goes full like I'm gonna drop my nuts on your fucking neck, let them rest for a little bit, let them marinate. Can you smell them from over there? Can you smell them from over there? I'm gonna rest my whole fucking gunt on you right now. And he just like lets it go for a little bit, and then he's like, "Oh my god, you're so stupid. You're like literally an idiot."
He's like, "Wow."
But I like that.
He calls himself an idiot for thinking he was smart.
Yeah, exactly. He blames himself.
He blames himself.
Like a true villain would. Always blame himself for not being a good enough villain.
Not realizing that the competition or the person he thought was his foil was even less than himself. Like,
but that's the one thing that isn't real about this movie. Is that, and all of Batman, and this is a whole thing, it's that the villains never aim to kill Batman. They just want to play around.
Well,
they're all about the poetic justice. In real life, that dude would be gone, dude. The cartel kills families.
I think
is what I'm saying.
I think the way they got around that with him trying to talk shit about Batman, because he does all that shit talking right before he reveals he actually doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne.
Right.
He does, excuse me.
I don't know. Yeah,
he doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne right before he does all that shit talking.
Right.
I said it the other way around. But he goes, Bruce Wayne, then tells the story, and then he goes into, the way he keeps talking, he implies, like, he doesn't realize Batman is Bruce Wayne, because he goes, we almost had him.
Yeah.
We almost had Bruce. Me and you.
Yeah,
vengeance together.
Right.
We almost had him. And then that's when Bruce goes like, oh.
He doesn't realize I got the thing
shit.
Still.
Yeah, like he actually doesn't know who I am. Like he thought him saying I know the real you was I know you're Bruce Wayne, when in reality he goes, no. Bruce Wayne died a while ago, bro. That's whoever you are under that doesn't matter. This is you.
Yeah.
And then that's when Batman goes like, oh, he actually is crazy.
Yeah.
He's not.
But at the same time, like that's definitely something that he was also thinking about. Like, whoa, he's kind of right, because it's a sad boy Batman who's already been doubting himself the whole time. That's why he's writing in his notebook. When he's writing in his notebook, he's like, push harder. He's got all these like things where it's like self-criticism and shit, which lets you know that this Batman is conflicted and he doesn't necessarily know that what he's doing is exactly right, but he still treats himself to be like the arbiter of right and wrong in these streets.
But that's what's nice, is because usually Batman is so confident in that he is on the right side until
Ben Affleck. Would you tell him no?
No, I was gonna say Christian Bale.
Oh yeah.
Until
would you tell his mole that he's wrong?
Until the Harvey Dent last 30-minute arc, Batman is an asshole. In the first movie, in the whole second movie, until the phrase, I'm not the hero they deserve, I'm the hero they need. Or I'm not the hero
Which,
they
by
need,
the way,
I'm the hero they deserve.
Puke.
But that, in essence, explains, like, yes, you finally understand you're not a good guy. You're not a good guy.
Right.
You are a guy.
It's the I Am Legend trope.
Like, you're a guy who is hurt and who's doing the same thing the villains are doing, but he's doing it for the people instead of himself.
Much like Vladimir Putin, I think.
Jesus Christ. What a way to end. What a way to end, guys. Come back for our next movie review. when it's gonna be like Pol Pot.
No. Let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this more?
Stalin?
Do you want to run this back? This movie thing?
I mean, I think we need to since movies are back now.
That's cool. Yeah, let's do the next movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home, because we're gonna go from a movie that treats its villains right to a movie that treats its villains like goddamn children.
That's still in theaters, you know.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Like if you went to like the same place we went and saw a movie, they were playing Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure. At least they were when we tried to go see it last Saturday. It was still playing. They had like 4 showings. Isn't it like 3 months ago that came out? Right in January.
I've been trying my hardest to like forget when it came out.
Yeah. Anyways,
is that still recording?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right, guys.
Woo.
Next movie, I guess Spider-Man: No Way Home. I'll probably watch that. We'll
So
probably
watch
put this
it.
one out.
We're gonna put this out. We're gonna put this out on Tuesday.
Tuesday. All right, guys.
I'll probably be able to
This is
get
the March
it in.
movie review.
Well, it's whatever, you
April
know.
movie. No.
It's a bonus.
Let's just do one a month.
Whatever.
Let's just do one a month. Next month.
Whatever.
April movie review.
You guys don't need to know. That's for us to decide.
April movie review. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No Way Home.
If you like this, you can beg
No Way
for
Home
more.
or is it Homecoming? I can't remember. There's so many now.
Let's do No Way Home jizzing.
That's the most recent one. No Way Home.
Yeah.
I don't really care, so I'm gonna watch it. And
that was not a funny joke by me just now. I don't know.
We're gonna get back to you.
All right. I'm sorry about anything.
Thank you for smoking with us, guys.
Yes, and thank you for watching.